We live around technology, around the world where everything seems made up of metal and steel and electronics. But we often forget how we are where we are, how nature helped form most of it. So, let's take a trip back in time and find out. We live in a world where we depend on Mother Nature. It's her world. We're just living in it. Throughout history, we have observed how many of the biggest civilizations have depended completely on Mother Nature, either settling near bodies of water or living near trees. It's evident that humans have depended on this. These early civilizations have used nature for their growth. Nature can be beneficial most of the time, not always. So, we have to learn how to interact and use it to its maximum potential, like these civilizations did. The Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Harappan, and Chinese civilizations learned how to interact with nature and used this relationship to grow and become more developed. So, let's take a trip back to where it all started.
In the years 4500 before Christ through 3000 before Christ, the Sumerians settled along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. These rivers shaped the Mesopotamian civilization. The fertile land around the rivers allowed agriculture to flourish. Sumerians also built irrigation ditches in order to carry water from the rivers to their crops. However, rainfall is very unpredictable and the rivers were extremely hard to navigate. In order to fix the river navigation problem, they invented the sail. This allowed them to move safely in the water and use the rivers to their full potential. Sumerians also invented the wheel, which provided an easier way to move across their city. Another invention of theirs was the plow. This made farming easier and more efficient. In order to keep their city safe and keep unwanted visitors outside, Sumerians built walls around the city using bricks made out of mud. Sumerians were moved by their needs, and thanks to that we have access to various things now that we use in our everyday life. For example, the wheel. Sumerians kept a healthy relationship with nature and used it to their benefit. Fast forward a few years and we land in another ancient civilization.
Egyptians lived in farming villages since about 5000 BC, when they first settled along the Nile River. Settling near a river provided many benefits. However, the river flooded easily with snow. These floods caused massive destructions, setting the civilization back. Although flooding provided many disadvantages, it had some positive outcomes. Flooding left silt, which made the land fertile, allowing for agriculture to flourish. Like in the previous civilizations, agriculture was the base of trade. They needed an easy way to exchange their goods, and this allowed them to create a transportation system, which affected their whole economic system. They had a calendar, which specified and helped out their whole agricultural process. It organized their whole civilization, opened doors to other opportunities, and allowed them to succeed. However, living near a river isn't always beneficial. In fact, researchers think the Egyptian civilization declined because of the many troubles the river caused. Mainly, the river was difficult to access, resulting in famine throughout the regions the river couldn't reach. This was one of the major causes that caused the downfall of the Egyptian civilization.
The Harappan civilization emerged in the Indus Valley around the year 2500 before Christ. High mountains provided protection for the Harappan from other civilizations. These isolated them and made it difficult for others to reach them. However, these mountains also had negative repercussions on the Harappan civilization, as the isolation made it difficult for them to trade with other civilizations. Farming was greatly influenced by the Indus, as they used the area around it for agriculture. Just like in the other river valley civilizations, the river made the land for agriculture fertile. However, different from other civilizations, the Indus flooded reliably, which provided a source for food throughout the year. In order to keep water outside their city, in the case that rivers flooded, the Harappan built walls around their city. They also used man-made islands in order to control river flow. The Harappan were also one of the first civilizations to implement a sewage system. This was made possible by using tunnels, water, and gravity. We can thank the Harappan for the wonderful invention of the sewage system, which has completely changed our lives, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. Now we travel to another wonderful civilization.
China was one of the longest lasting civilizations in all of humanity. Their civilization lasted from around 2000 BC to 200 BC. They settled around the Yellow River, which deposited silt in their villages. Other than having the Yellow River as the main deposits of silt in their agricultural systems, the Chinese also got many loess, which came from the desert winds from the north and the west. This helped them be able to develop in a river valley easily because their land was so fertile. The Chinese were also extremely smart architects and engineers. They developed an irrigation system in the Huanghe River, which delivered water to hundreds of crops. Being situated where the Chinese were was often hard for them. They were far away from every other civilization. They couldn't trade with anyone, so they had to develop as a society completely isolated and alone. After living undisturbed for hundreds of years, the Huanghe River flooded and destroyed many of the villages and started the decline of the Chinese civilization. Throughout history, civilizations from the past have used nature to their benefit. The Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Harappan, and Chinese civilizations learned to interact with nature and use this relationship to grow and become more developed. Nowadays, we should keep in mind that nature is a tool for success, instead of an obstacle keeping us from it. In order to succeed, a balanced relationship is needed with nature, one in which we protect it and prevent it from being damaged. It is crucial to work with nature instead than against it. This is something we can take from these four civilizations. They learned how to have a stable relationship with their environment and cope with nature. They only worked to improve their relationship and use it to their maximum potential.